Cultural considerations. Cultural considerations, in short, may be considered things that are a part of how we uniquely identify ourselves and that influence our practices, beliefs, and values. Cultural considerations may be either readily observable, somewhat observable, or even obscure. Some considerations that may be readily observable are things like race, age, or even gender. Those that are somewhat observable include things such as marital status, religion, or spirituality. Lastly, those that are a bit more obscure and not easily identifiable may include ethnicity, educational status, socioeconomic status, language, political affiliation, or sexual orientation, just to name a few. The cultural consideration of race may be defined as any of one of the groups that humans are often divided into based on physical traits regarded as common among people of shared ancestry. Race is considered a system of classification that cannot be reinforced with scientific data linking traits typically associated with various classes of race commonly used. In the United States, people are generally classified as either American Indian slash Alaska Native, Asian, Black slash African American, Native Hawaiian slash other Pacific Islander, or white. A commonality within each of these categories would be a shared lineage of geographical origins. American Indian slash Alaska Native would be individuals descending from those indigenous to North or South America prior to European exploration and colonization. It is widely accepted that these individuals are hunter-gatherers of Asian lineage who migrated from Asia through modern-day Russia to Alaska during the Ice Age period. The land bridge existing in place of the Bering Strait during the Ice Age would have provided them with time for migration of a distance now spanning around 53 miles. With articles and studies stating the average human traveled between 7 to 20 miles per day, this journey would have taken between 3 and 8 days to complete. There are over 500 recognized Native American tribes in the United States alone, which does not include those identified in Central and South America or Canada. Asians commonly consist of individuals originating from areas like India, China, and other countries surrounding both, Japan, and several countries within the Middle East region. There are about 48 countries identified as Asian. Ironically, inhabitants from Russia, which geographically spans a large area of the continent of Asia, are more commonly categorized as European. This is reinforced by their architecture and other cultural aspects that are more identifiable with European customs and designs as opposed to Asian customs and designs. While sharing a geographic origin, Asians, like many other races, are truly diverse when accounting for other cultural considerations like nationality, religion, or language. Black or African American people would be considered to have a lineage linked to the continent of Africa and its 54 countries, including Egypt, which borders the Middle East, and those countries like Israel, Jordan, and Saudi Arabia classified as Asian. Unlike many other groups across the globe that have migrated freely to the United States, African Americans consist of two main groups: those who have migrated freely to the United States and those considered to be descendants of slaves who were forcefully brought to the country during the transatlantic slave trade. This creates a unique divide within this classification group of people within the U.S., as one group has 54 distinct subgroups, while descendants of slaves in many cases are uncertain of which African country they may originate from. Native Hawaiian or other Pacific Islander would consist of those people indigenous to and or descending geographically from many of the islands within the Pacific Ocean, including Australia, New Zealand, and Papua New Guinea, and excluding a few like Indonesia that sit closer to the Asian Pacific coast and are identified by U.S. classification as Asian in origin. These people are associated with any of the 14 countries considered part of Oceania, as well as those from the U.S. state of Hawaii. This group, like American Indians and Alaska Natives, have their origins in Asia, specifically Southeast Asia. White or European are individuals originating from or descendants of those from any of the 50 European states/countries. Historically, 7 countries identified as having the greatest military strength have also been the countries most involved in colonization or having a larger global presence. These countries are Great Britain, France, Italy, Russia, Spain, Germany, and Poland. This is important to note because their cultures can be viewed around the globe and in many cases has contributed to divisions that continue to exist between the indigenous people of the areas they have colonized. The indigenous people are divided by those who have embraced the colonizing culture and those who have not. Those embracing the colonizing culture have often been put in position to govern all systems of infrastructure, while others have historically worked in service roles required to support and sustain said infrastructure. As you can begin to see, the diversity existing amongst the 5 racial categories within the United States is quite complex. Why do we have 5 categories as opposed to 3, considering that 3 of the 5 groups have shared history and origins? While exploring the races, we begin to see the diversity of ethnicity, which may include terms like nationality, tribe, religion, or language, among others. We will further discuss those in future videos. Hopefully this begins to open our eyes to the growing number of factors influencing our values, beliefs, perceptions, and opinions of the world we live in and the people we encounter along the way. Begin exploring and learning about the many cultures by getting to know more about a non-family member that shares your racial background and at least 2 people from a different racial background. Discover how much you may have in common and what might be different.